Hello, this is D20G Gaming. My name is Kevin, and this is something a little different. Today, the video is called Producing the D20G Way. So why am I making this video? That's the first thing. What's the point? We've been doing this for 6 years. Why now? Well, honestly, there's two reasons. One is to help anybody who wants to produce anything on Twitch or YouTube using OBS and Zoom, no matter whether it's for us or not, to achieve that goal. And two, because Dirty 20 Gaming has succeeded beyond my wildest dreams. Our growing group and ever-increasing numbers are wonderful, but it does come with a price. Our very few producers are working to get all these shows up and running every week, and some of them aren't even in the games they're producing. I applaud that commitment with all my heart. I don't know if I'd do it for somebody else, but it fills my heart to know that people are willing to do it, but I'd really like to lighten their load. So, ideally, I'd like each game to have its own producer who is also in the game and a backup producer. So we're going to get to that. But here's the thing. I know producing can seem like a really daunting task, and I won't lie, it does take some effort, especially setting up a new game, but I don't think it's as hard as you think it is. So with the proviso that it's easier if you have at least two monitors, I'm going to walk us through the basics. First thing, if you choose to produce for us, the first thing I want you to know, and I'm going to say this multiple times and I'm going to put it up on the screen everywhere all over the place, we provide everything you need, and we'll do one-on-one meetings that'll get you all set up. We'll also sit in on the first game or two that you produce to make sure that you've got that safety net of us sitting there in case something unexpected comes along. Once you're comfortable, we'll turn you loose. So, the first thing you're going to need for, at least for our production system, is OBS, because it's the only system I know. So you can get it for free. I'm going to post the link thing here somewhere on the screen. It's just obsproject.com. It's completely free. You're also going to need the production package for the show that you're producing, and we're going to send you that. It's a simple folder, and it contains the following. Let me show you. Poof. This is what's in one. What you're going to get is our intro and outro images. You can see them there on the screen. You see them every week on every show. You're also going to get art for the underlay. That's this image down here in the corner. Oh, never mind, I haven't got the mouse turned on. The underlay art that's going to be in your OBS settings as well. You're going to get a frame to wrap around their faces and or their character art if they're not using cameras. You're going to get their character art. It's in the package here. We've got some examples from our Shadow of the Lock Term game. You're going to get the logo of the game system that you're using. In this case, I just used the Shadowrun 6th World. And you might get that funny looking thing in the top left-hand corner. Here it's called Advertising Pulp. That is a font. If you get that, just download and install it. And the easy way to do that is just double-click on that sucker. Double click again and it opens up, and then right over here it says install. And just hit that button and it's in. Now when you go in, it's going to be there. So it's as simple as that. That's the only thing you do before you actually open this package. Put that folder that we send you somewhere. I put it on desktop so it's easy to see, and we're ready for the next step, which is the actual creation of the thing. So open up OBS. And then you're going to create a new profile and a new scene selection. Let me get set up here. Now this is an example one that we've got. If I click to here, you can see this is the one from our Carnage Heights game. And there's 3 scenes. The intro scene that you see before every show, the actual scene itself, which is where we're going to put pictures and everything else, and our outro scene, which is goodbye. But for this, we're going to create a new one. So we go up here to Profile. Click New, and the one that we're just going to do today, I'm just going to call Example. Give it a name, click. It's going to ask you right away what you want to do. Do you want to stream, record, or otherwise? So in this case, we're going to do Optimize for streaming, recording as secondary. Hit Next. Use the current, it's 1920 by 1080, unless your monitor isn't. If it's 720, that's fine. It's also a great way if you're a little worried about your internet connection to cut down on the amount of bandwidth you need, because 720 uses about a quarter as much bandwidth as 1080 does. This is another big one here. Either 60 or 30, but prefer 60. This isn't, we're not streaming video games here. We're not streaming driving games. We don't need 60. So go to FPS of 30. It also makes it way easier when I'm editing, when I'm rendering it and getting it ready to put up on YouTube. It happens a lot faster if we only do 30 frames. So hit next. It's going to ask you for a for your stream key here. I just realized if I do this now, I'm going to have to send another one. Anyway, let's get it. We're just going to do that. It says get stream key. It'll take us to the place we need to. Hit reset, hit copy, get out of there, pop it in here, and hit next. Now, the thing is, that's how I do it. When you get, I just realized I messed this up. When I'm going to email you a stream key. That's the way that you work on my stream. So when you get that stream key sent to you, that's what you put in this box. If you're streaming live or on your own channel, you put your stream key in there and hit next. It does some bandwidth testing for us here. And it gives me a chance to turn my page on my paper script. I love the background image here. That if anybody who's old like me, that's what TV used to look like when it was tuned between channels. Static, or snow as we used to call it. So while this is doing this, the next thing we're going to be doing is scenes and sources down here in the corner, but I'm going to let this finish up. Honestly, because I like to brag, because I have excellent internet connection. So, and what this is doing is it's going to check 3 local places, 3 centers near you, and make sure that you have the bandwidth available. All of this is just noise. It's telling you what it's okay. What you want to see is video bitrate of at least 6,000 and frames per second of 30. Apply the settings and we're in. So now, let's actually make our new scene. We're at example here. We now go to scene collection and we make a new one. Name it exactly the same thing. Example. And hit enter. So now, when we go here, we've got example. When we go here, we've got example. If I was doing Carnage Heights, I would click there, and you notice nothing changes down here until I go to scene collection and grab the one that I want. And there everything is. So let's go back to our new one. Example. Example. And it's blank. So, scenes and sources. One thing I've seen that has confused people is what's the bloody difference? Scenes and sources. The way I explain it is your sources, or sorry, your scene, let's screw that up. Your scenes, this here, this is what the public sees. When you want to change a scene from the intro image to the cast, to the screenshot, blah, blah, blah. When you want to change the image from the intro screen to the game screen and to the outro screen, this is where you're going to do it, in the scene setting. Sources are all the fiddly bits that make up a scene. Let's start with an easy one. First, let's create a scene. And we're going to rename this one. We're just going to rename it. And it's called intro, because that's where we're going to start. So we get in there and you notice there's still nothing here. So now we've got this scene made intro. So anytime this is lit up, these sources are going to be here. The thing with sources is whatever you put at the bottom of the list is at the bottom of the stack, and anything you put on top stacks on top of that. It's not going to matter for this image, but it's going to matter when we get to the actual show screen. So add a source, and we're going to just use an image because we know what this is. We're going to call it Roll20 logo. Whoops, not Roll20. D20G logo. Let's do that. And we're going to go, because I've got it in desktop, we're going to go there. We're going to go to our production package example. And we're going to grab our intro image. Double click on that sucker. Here's the trick though. It's huge. You can just barely see the corner of it down here. So the way you scale stuff in OBS is grab a corner, hold down the left mouse button, and pull. And then when you grab there and pick it back up, you have to do this multiple times to get it down to a size where it's actually going to fit on our screen. Still too big. There we go. Let's go with that. And then you can use these side numbers to get it roughly centered. Nobody's going to measure it. And if they do, I'll have a word with them. But there we go. 195 on each side. And then hit this lovely little lock button. Bang. We have created our very first scene. With one source. Nice and easy. Let's do the other easy one, which is, what a surprise, outro. This one's even easier because we're going to add a source. We're going to add an image. We're going to call it outro. And it says that name's already in use. Dun 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 dun. So we're going to have to change it to outro image. Again, pop in here. This is our outro image right here. The nice thing with this one, it's on a transparent background and it scales properly, so all you have to do is sort of center it. Bang. They're now locked, so now I can't grab this and move it around. Same thing with the intro image, it's not going anywhere. So, now we're going to do, if I make sure my notes are right here, this is the complicated one. This is a scene called show. Or whatever you want to call it. This is what's actually going to go out to the audience. Now again, we build from the bottom up. And it's going to look like a lot. Like if you look, let me go back to Carnage Heights because this is a great example. We go to this scene, look at this. Look at all of what's in here. It's crazy, right? That's too much. Nobody understands that, except it's not. It's really, if you look, it's an underlay, the zoom images, name tags, art, and Roll20 if you're using that. That's it. There's not that much to it. So let's build one. Let's go to example. Let's go to scene collection, example. Now, we're in the show. The first thing, because we're building from the bottom up, you're going to start with your underlay. We used to do this in a very complicated way, and we'd had them overlays, and we'd go into GIMP or whatever and cut holes in the image and then put the zoom pictures behind it and then put this over. It's way easier to do it this way. So the first thing we're going to add is at the very bottom. We want an image. We want it called underlay or whatever you want. You can always name these whatever makes sense to you, right? And again, we're going to go in here. And in this case, I'm stealing one that we used. It's actually from the Terry Pratchett Discworld game that we had recently. Use that image, and you can see it's kind of, we can move it around here, we can drag it around. I'm going to do until I've got what I like, which is Fart Power Baby Dragon. Look at that. And then once you got it where you want, hit the lock button. Easy peasy. The next thing that goes on top of this is our zoom images of us. So I'm going to put one in here. That is generally done with display capture or window capture. I'm going to try window capture. We're going to call this one, for reasons that will become clear shortly, top left zoom. Top left, apparently. Top left zoom. Bang. Select a window to capture. Zoom meeting. And go to Windows 1903 and up if you've got Windows 10 or better, and poof. We don't have a camera here because I'm using the camera here, so I can't use the camera in both places. But we're going to pretend this is our Zoom call with all the peoples in it. Get rid of capture cursor so we can't see it when I drag the cursor across that. And hit OK. Now, how we edit. Because if you think of this Zoom picture is going to have 4 or 5 people in it. And I only want one at a time in each of the 4 corners. So, to crop in to crop in OBS, you hold down the Alt button, and you grab these little dots. And you see it turns into a dotted green line. Now, when you're setting it up, it doesn't have to be perfect, because you're going to have to do this again the first time you got all your peoples in. But for now, we're just going to make a sort of window shape. And that would have, that's going to have our picture in it. Now, we showed you how to crop it, how to make it bigger and smaller. Just grab a button and pull. Easy peasy. Move it around, just grab it and move it. Once you got it where you want it, hit the button and lock it in place. I'm only going to do one here, but if you're doing a game with 3 players and a GM, you need to do top right zoom, bottom left zoom, bottom right zoom, right? That's easy stuff. So once you've got them all where you want them, lock them in place. Now, probably clear why I use descriptions rather than character names or anything like that. So when everybody joins the Zoom call, I know who's going to go in the top left corner, so I can edit or move the people around in the Zoom call so that the pictures match. So we're going to have 4 Zoom calls if we have 3 players. So let's leave that behind for now and presume that we've got 3 more here. Next. Cropping the images. Right, next, obviously, why am I looking at this? Next is frames. Add another image. I'm going to call it frame, because that's what it is. You can go in here, grab the frame. Now, same thing. We size it this way. We get it over there where we want it. Sort of there-ish. Get the width set, sort of like that. Now, here's another thing that you can do. If you hold down the Shift button and grab this, it will deform the image. So you can do that. And turn a square into a rectangle. Again, there'll be a list of commands that we show you, plus we're going to be there to help you do this. But once you got it where you want, hit lock. Do that 3 more times, and now we've got 4 images in frames, 4 zoom pics in frames, ready to go. We're almost halfway there. Now, next thing, names. Easy peasy. Text. And I call it top left name. For now, once you get a character name, you can change that and put that in there. We select our font. In this case, it was Advertising Pulp. Except apparently I didn't put it in there. So we're going to use Adventure Hollow because it's my favorite. So pick the font that you want, hit OK. Type the thing in. In this case, top left name, because we don't have a name for them yet. Some fonts do this, and you'll see that it actually cuts off the end, so just hit an extra space at the end, and it does just fine. Come down here. I don't worry about text transforms, because especially in this case, it's all uppercase. Anyway, pick your color. And it can be, it's totally up to you. Let's do bright yellow so it's easy to see. And here's some other stuff we can do. We can add a gradient. And the cool thing with the gradient is that you can see it fades. And we can move the direction of the gradient so it comes from the left and the right and all that good stuff. You can make it darker or lighter. We very rarely do this, but I just wanted to show you how it works. So I'm going to turn that back off. We now come down. This we occasionally do, background images, because you can see if we go here, it's not real clear. We're going to shrink this down and put it where it's supposed to go, which is there, but you can see that it really doesn't show up very much. So one option is to do a background color. We'll do black in this case, and background opacity. As we crank this up, you'll see about there. So we can see the lettering absolutely clearly, but we can still see the frame underneath. I'm just going to shrink that a little bit so it fits on there. This is purely personal choice, whatever you like the look of. And I'm going to do one more thing. Oh, alignment, top left center. We've only got one line. It doesn't really matter. But I'm going to add an outline because I like outlines. So let's do this with, let's make it a dark color. No, let's make it red so it stands out against the background. And then just crank up the amount. And the more you add, the more it's going to show up. I'm not particularly fond of this, but you can see the effect, right? Because it's outlined it all in red. Once you're happy, hit the button. And then lock it. It's starting to already look like one of our games, right? We've got the zoom image, we've got the frame, we've got your name in there. The next thing, character art. And again, we'd have 4 of these, but I don't want to clutter this up. It's going to look like the Carnage Heights one when we're done if we did everything. So I'm going to keep this real simple so we can see it. But the next thing, character art. So that, again, another image. Very simple. And we're going to call this, because we have the names, we're going to call this Gav Art, because that's what we're using from the Shadow of the Vocturn game. Get in here and just grab whatever we're using for the Gav Art. Hit OK. And again, size it however you like. Make it look nice. Put it somewhere on the screen where you like the look of it. Hit the button. That's it. That's all. So now, let me check here. So we've got our frames, we've got our names, we've got our Zoom link, got our art. Okay, there's only 3 more things to add. We need an image for the game logo, because we always give credit for the game that we're playing, and one for our D20 logo, and then a text source for our game's title. So let's do those. Let's start with the game's logo. Again, we're going to send it to you. It's in the package. So again, image, game logo, enter, find it. We're going to use the Shadowrun logo right there. Collect that. Find a nice place to put it where it shows up. In this instance, it's just not going to show up very well because of the background coloring. What we could do is make a little black box and put it on there, but for now we're going to put it over there as sort of a ghostly image in the corner. That works. I kind of like that, actually. And lock it in place. Next thing is our D20G logo. Image, D20G logo. Nice and simple. The name's already in use. All right. In game, because we are using it in our intro image, right? That and bang and bang. Now, you thought we had to shrink it before to get it on the other screen. This is just an over and over and over and over and over process to get it small enough, because we, roughly speaking, want it about the same size as the game logo. Right. I figure the people that are playing the game are worth at least as much credit as the people who built the game. So about that size, find a place to put it. In this case, it kind of balances that over there. And I mean, we'd have another name here, but this would be slightly covering the corner. Anyway, doesn't really matter. It's got to go somewhere. And then one more thing. Text. The title, we're going to call it game title. Pick our font. Adventure Hollow. Example game. That's what we're going to call this one. Let's do some different colors this time. Let's do it in let's do it in a really, it's going to be hideous to look at, but let's just show you how this works. And let's do a gradient on this one. I like that fading to white, but let's move it over there so it kind of looks like the sun's coming, or the light's coming from the bottom right hand or bottom left hand side of the screen. Let's do an outline. In this case, we're going to do pale blue, sort of purpley blue outline here, and give it a little less thickness than the other one. That works there. And I just realized I didn't do the thing here. Hit the space. Once we got what we like, hit OK. Drag it to where we want it. Realize that this one definitely needs a background. You can just click on it here. To background color, background opacity, and let's just grant that up until we can see. Maybe a little more. Sort of there. Yeah. Good enough for the purposes of this. And lock it in place. Now, obviously, the scaling isn't right here. You know, you'd have your 4 images and your D20G images are all different, but this is how you set it up. And once it's set up, you can mess with all this stuff. So you're looking at that and going, that's too big. So unlock it. Make it smaller. Right. Recenter it using these 550 and 430, so we're nowhere near centered. Somewhere there-ish. Nobody's going to notice 4 pixels. And you can adjust all of these things. So move it all around however you like. So now, the only thing that's left, we're going to, again, 4 images, 4 of all of this, and then this stuff filled into the spaces, the logos, the game name, and the D20, wherever they'll fit. You can also add a Twitch chat if you choose. I'm not going to do that for this one. If we're doing that for your game, we'll show you exactly how to do it, but it's the same thing. All that we would do is go in here, go to display capture, and find we'd go in here. Let's just do this basically. Select a display to capture. So we do whatever. No, not that one. That one, and then we just again use the abilities that we learned earlier to use the Alt button and the things to crop it down to the size that we want. But that's a very small thing that we can do if you're doing that for your game. I'm just going to get rid of it here because once you've got all of that in place, and again, there's going to be probably 4 or 5 zooms, 4 or 5 frames, 4 or 5 names, 4 or 5 arts, and then one of each of these. So it's going to end up looking like the one from Carnage Heights with just like a huge list of stuff. But it's really only these steps. But as of right now, if we start to stream with this, nobody's going to be able to hear anything, so we have to add sound. And if you're in the game, you have to add 2 sounds. If you're not in the game, and it's only them talking and you're just in the Zoom call being the producers, then all you need is audio output capture, because that's the output from your computer. And to remind myself of that, I call it desktop audio. That way every noise that's coming out of my computer is going to this file. And you set this to whatever listening device you're using during the game. I really suggest using headphones, simply because if your speakers in your room are too close to your mic, it could potentially feed back and end up with a loop, especially if you're in the game. So it really works better if you've got headphones. But it's not absolutely necessary unless you're in the game, because then you'll hear it. But just I use my headphones, set that to that. Now anything that goes to my headphones is going to this bar here. You notice it's not moving because it's not picking up me, because my mic isn't going through desktop. So to fix that, if I'm in the game, I add another sound, the one that looks like a microphone, audio input capture, and I call this one microphone, because that's what it is. And for that, again, I pick the mic I'm using, which in my case is my lovely Yeti X. I hit the button and you can see me talking here, and it's just about perfect right now because it's just up into the yellows. If I wanted to bring that up or down, it's got a built-in volume control there. And where these are important is just to match the approximate level for both. So to make sure that your voice is the same volume as everybody else's voices. And that, once we lock those 2 in place, is it. We've got our underlay, we've got our people in the Zoom calls, we've got frames around them, we've got their names, we've got their character art, we've got the game logo, so everybody's getting credit for credit is due, we've got our D20 logo, we've got the game title, and we've got both of our sound set up. So now, we're done that bit. Now, we get ready to stream. But first, if you got all the way to here, you deserve this. Go have a drink of your choice or a snack or something. You're set up. It's time to celebrate. Now we we put it all to use. Getting ready to stream. We're going to send you on the day of a stream key, and that gets emailed to you. So if you're one of our producers, I need your email. There's no other way to do it. You can make one up. I don't care. Make up a fake one. I don't care. I just need somewhere to be able to send you an email. And that will send you one of those weird long strings of numbers that is your stream key. When you get that, just go to Settings, go to Stream, and put it in here. Delete what's here and copy paste that number into there. Hit apply and or OK. Apparently, if you hit OK, it automatically applies. I get picky, I always hit apply first and then okay. I'm not going to do it here because I do have a stream key. But put it in there, hit okay. Then you're ready to go. So, before you go live, make sure all your cameras are done. All this is set up. So you got 4 faces in there with the right names, and the sound is working. You got energy going into both of these bars at approximately the same level. You've done your 1,000 checks, and now it's time to go live. First things first, we go to intro, so that we've only got this logo here, and you notice there's no sound. So once we've got that, you're going to hit start streaming. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want to stream 30 seconds of nothing. You hit start stream. That's it. Give them a minute or two. Watch the Twitch. I usually have Twitch chat and the Twitch window open. If your system and or your internet won't handle that, it's really not necessary. But what I like to do is leave it in intro mode until we've got a few viewers showed up. At this point, somebody, either you or somebody else in the cast, is going to go to going live in our Discord and type in something to get people's attention, hit the enter button, and then give them a couple minutes to get there. Once you've got an audience, look at your GM and say, when I tell you, you're live. And I'm going to count you in. Whatever you want to do. I point at cameras sometimes because it's funny, especially if I'm not in the game. I can just go like that. And I actually have started doing that on Mondays, even though I'm in the game, so it's kind of funny, but never mind. What you should probably do, if whatever your professional is, count them in. And counting somebody in TV land, you don't use 2 and 1. So you'd go 5, 4, 3, and hit that show button. And then immediately you're live, your GM starts talking, does all the intro stuff, the game happens, all kinds of fun occurs, blah, 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 blah. You get to the end sort of roughly 2 hours later, and after the GM does the outro bit, the be nice to each other, and everybody's waving and smiling, hit that button. Audio mixer goes blank, so they can't hear you anymore. The outro image is there. Let that sit for a minute, maybe, and then stop the stream. That's it. Now this bit here, the 3 steps, that's all you have to do every week. We got to do this hard setup stuff once for each show. And you might have to move stuff around, depending on who's there or who isn't there that week. You might leave some spaces blank. You might, if they don't want to use a camera, you would take their, the easy way to do that is if this person doesn't want to use a camera, take their character art, put it in here. Right? Now we got art for them. Now everybody knows who they are. So whatever it takes to make it work. The rough rule of thumb is whatever works. It's really about that. As I have said a billion times, this isn't network TV. Nobody's getting paid. And if it looks a little meh, then it looks a little meh. I don't care. But the important bit is that everybody has fun. And with that, we're going to take an end to this with one real short version of this. Again, this is what you have to do on game day. You get the people in the boxes. You get the zoom windows in the boxes. That's a little fiddly, but you'll get really, really good at it right away. Remember using that Alt and your left mouse button to crop the images and pop them in there. After that, when everybody's ready and your sound's working, intro, let the crowd show up, count them in, play, hit the button, tell them they're clear, because otherwise they'll sit there and smile and wave at the camera and do hearts and everything for minutes, which is funny once or twice, but yeah, tell them they're clear, let them go, give it a minute, and hit stop streaming. That's it. It's not that tough. And once again, just before we end here, I'm going to go through this again to let you know all this setup that I just did. We're going to book a meeting with you and do it with you. This is not something you're going to have to do yourself. We're also going to sit with you for at least one episode. Depending on your level of comfort after that one episode, we'll decide whether whether you'd prefer to have somebody sit through with you for a couple of episodes. But once you're comfortable, we'll let you go on your own. And here's the important thing. Stuff happens. I've sent out, how many videos have I started with no sound? How many videos have I started with the wrong pictures in the wrong boxes? Mistakes are okay. They happen. This is not professional TV. Nobody's getting fired. Chat will help you. Twitch chat will say, hey, you got these two in the wrong spot. And you can fix that live by just coming in here and dragging them around. Live editing is one of my favorite things. The point I'm trying to make is, try not to panic. If something goes wrong, we'll figure it out. If something goes wrong, contact one of the other producers and we'll figure it out for you. We have almost certainly had the problem ourselves. We'll get you there. Producing in the game isn't tough because, as you saw, it's once you're there, it's only 3 buttons once you're playing. So you're never really producing and playing at the same time. Having said that, we do not have our, for the most part, we do not have our GMs producing the show that they're in, because that's a lot of work. A few of us are doing it, and that's okay, but that's not our plan. We don't want to overload anybody. So we'll get you set up. We'll get you all ready to go. I can promise you that your cast will appreciate your efforts and work. If they don't, I'll tell them to. Short version is, thank you for tuning into this. I hope it gives you an idea that it's not overwhelmingly difficult to produce using OBS. I also want to make absolutely sure that you know that we're going to help you every step of the way. Giving all of that, thank you so much for listening to this today. We will be contacting everybody that has expressed an interest in doing this so far, and we'll be booking appointments with you to go through the process on a one-on-one basis. Other than that, this ends the same way they all end, because it's always the most important bit. Until next time, please be nice to each other. Good night. Hit outro button.